This is Matchweek. You are joined by myself, Ardi and Besmir. We discuss everything soccer from the highs and the lows in the sporting week to the news that is relevant to you.
You're listening to 90.3 WMSC.
Hold on, stop. There we go. Okay, sorry about that. That was a little weird of an intro there. That didn't mean to happen. How are we doing today, ladies and gentlemen? This is Match Week. I know you guys are thinking, wait, Artie, I think you're still supposed to have someone with you, right? Well, yes. You know, like, he enjoyed the last time, you know, he's like, you know what, live radio, wow, what a great thing to do. So now I have him back again. Everyone, please welcome Besmir. Besmir, say hello.
Thanks. Hold the applause, because I can't hear it anyway. But, no, always an absolute pleasure to be on with you, Artie. I enjoy hearing myself speak, so this is great. I hope the listeners would agree with that, but there's no one in the world I'd rather talk soccer with than you. So,
Aw.
you know, really appreciate you having me back on.
Thank you, kind sir. Now, what should we talk? There's a lot that's happened this past week since we last met up. What is there to first talk about and break down?
Oh man. I mean, can we go Champions League? The yesterday was ridiculous.
Yes, Champions League we can go with first if you'd like.
Yesterday was, I mean, being a Chelsea fan, as we mentioned 25 times last week. What a game. After everyone kind of wrote Chelsea off after a really tough week, getting hammered by Brentford, losing to Real, and then coming back and thrashing Southampton and, you know, going to the Kings of Europe, you know, Real Madrid being a 13-time winner of the Champions League is no joke. To come back and, you know, nearly pull off the comeback at you know, the Santiago Bernabeu is something that, you know, kind of brings that allure of the Champions League back. I've always said the last handful of years it's kind of lost its excitement. You know, yesterday was exciting as an understatement. I mean, Villarreal knocking Bayern out of the Champions League. Chelsea, Real going to a 5-4 in after extra time.
Well,
ridiculous.
You think this is going to be the last year where we're going to enjoy the classic Champions League format because now they're changing it, if I'm not mistaken.
They might be adding more teams, right? Which
they're going to be adding more teams. They're going to be changing the format, how everything goes. But yeah,
I mean, yeah. I think for now this year, that excitement that only the Champions League brings, being the most entertaining sports competition in the world, bar none. The Champions League is unreal. You know, it's for a team like Villarreal, managed by Unai Emery, who was sacked by Arsenal, having been a 4-time Europa League winner. You know, did the unthinkable, beat Bayern, tied Bayern, knocked them out. You know, and Bayern, once again, they're another massive team, massive club. The fact that they were able to do what they did is credit to Unai Emery and his players. I mean, astonishing, absolutely astonishing.
Well, here's the thing, right? This is happening with a lot of the teams now because, for example, Bayern, they're in that in-between stage of being the best team in the world and moving on to being the new best team. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're in that in-between of figuring out what they want to do with their future. For example, like, with Lewandowski's future not certain anymore at the club, you have an aging Manuel Neuer not knowing what to do. You have right-back issues within Pavard, who is not seen. He's not a right-back, in my opinion. He's a center-back at best. And then you have people like Nicolas Soule, who is still uncertain with his future. And then the left back scenarios like on and off depending on who's there, you know, like depending if Davies is fit or not, and depending if Hernandez wants to put in a performance.
You know, I wouldn't disagree with you. You know, they're in somewhat of a transition period, sure. You know, you still look at their lineup yesterday, right? I mean, Manuel Neuer might be aging, but we still have Gigi Buffon going at 42 years old with Parma, right, in Italy. To have the likes of Upamecano, Hernandez, Pavard, Kimmich, Goretzka, all on the field for you. Robert Lewandowski, Leroy Sané, Koeman, Musiala, Thomas Muller. That's still no joke of a lineup. Without any real disrespect to Villarreal. 36-year-old Raul Albiol played 30. I believe he's like 36 or something like that. 34, 36. He's up there in age. Is my point. They have him starting at center back. Giovanni Lo Celso, Etienne Capoue, Coquelin, who, did all right in the Prem. Estupinian is actually I love watching.
They got him.
Estupinian play.
They got him from a Premier League team. I forgot which one. It was someone who got relegated recently that they had picked him up from.
Yeah, but you look at all those players, and you'd imagine Leroy Sané's worth on the transfer market is nearly 8 or 9 of those players combined. It's not an understatement at all to say it was a massive upset. But, Villarreal, hey, they did their job. They're through to the next round of the Champions League, taking out Bayern Munich. That's no joke. It was pretty solid. And they don't do it, out of luck. Unai Emery has a way with European competitions, clearly. He's shown in the Europa League, this might be the year he shows what he's made of in the Champions League.
No, yeah, without a doubt. Because right now, let's see who's going to be left. Because it's going to be Villarreal against who's ever the winner of the next game of Liverpool Benfica. Then
Liverpool, okay.
Yeah, we'll say don't give them doubt, bro. They nicked the goal in a 3-1 loss, so we can see what happens.
No offense, Benfica, no, they're out.
And then you have on the other side, you have Real making it through, and Real's gonna verse either Man City or Atletico.
That is a massive game.
Yes, because here's the thing, right? Like City nicked one goal, right, 1-0, but Atletico locked them down. Like they were the most creatively frustrated they've ever been in their whole entire club history.
Yeah, no. Atleti is. For anyone that knows me, they know my love of Diego Simeone. I believe we touched upon it last week.
Yes, we did.
His players will do anything it takes to win a match.
Yep.
And if that means sitting back and working their butts off for 90 minutes to maybe grab one chance on the counter, score one goal, and take the game to penalties, they're going to do it. I think it might be a little bit of a different game plan this time around. I think Atleti might try to shock City and take it to them. Did they even have a shot on target last match? I'm not even sure they really even had a shot on target. So it's always interesting to see when you have two massive clubs like Atleti and City going at it now. I'm going to get roasted for saying City's a massive club. Right now, massively competitive clubs in Europe, they're still only a decade old.
But here's the thing we do have to acknowledge that within the past 15 years, they have been dominant within the Premier League.
Yeah, in the last 10 years, maybe, yeah. Not for what it's worth. Well, my Chelsea is the best team in England the last 2 decades.
Well, here's the thing. Okay, so we're gonna do 2 decades, right? So it's 2022.
Since we were.
So you guys have been the best team since 2009, I'll say.
Oh, I don't know about that. Back-to-back Prems with Mourinho in 2004 and 5 and 5-6. I don't know. 2008 made the Champions League final.
If we talk about 2000 to 2010, we beat you guys in the Champions League final.
In 2008, if we're talking about 2008, if Moscow's pitch was properly dry,
God.
John Terry doesn't slip.
Okay, dude, come on. That's Roman Abramovich's playing ground. He's the Russian. He would have made sure that was on lock if that's what we're talking about.
Let's put it this way. With no disrespect to City, within 8 years of Abramovich taking over Chelsea, they made it to 2 Champions League finals and won one.
Yeah.
City got taken over, a dozen years ago. They made one final, losing to Chelsea.
Yeah. Losing to Liverpool. They didn't lose Chelsea in the Champions League final.
City?
Yes, he lost to Liverpool in the Champions League final.
Who did they lose to last season?
In the Champions League final, you were just saying.
Yes. Who did Chelsea beat in the final last year? Kai
Oh
Havertz
wait,
scored.
yeah, that's right. Oh my god,
It's all right.
I'm thinking of the Liverpool Man City game.
It's
That's
all
what I
right.
was
In all
thinking of.
honesty, like I said, the last couple of years, the Champions League hasn't really been that memorable. If
Well,
you were
no,
to
it's
ask
just
me.
the thing is that it's so many of the same teams making it to the same spot that you get very confused of which year is what year.
Yeah, no, I love the fact that someone like a Villarreal is through the next round over a Bayern.
Yeah.
Listen, if it was up to me, I'd have Benfica beating Liverpool, and that would be amazing. You know,
But like I said, this is the last year of the traditional Champions League format, so we have to see what happens after this.
yeah, it's going to be exciting to say the least. You know, but going back to Guardiola for a second, I'm a huge critic of his, but when people talk about this Guardiola-Klopp feud or rivalry in England, with all due respect, how great is Klopp when you compare him to what Guardiola's done? Klopp's been at Liverpool for 7 years, right?
Yeah.
He's won one Prem title and one Champions League title.
I think the one thing we do have to note here is that it's just what he was able to bring back Liverpool from where they were, right? They were seen as like sort of as what United are right now, as like a mediocre club, in all honesty.
Yeah,
like,
but Liverpool thinks they're the best team in the world, for God's sake.
Yeah, okay, but that's just Liverpool fans, dude. They're you gotta deal with it, you know. But that's the tough part, is that we have to sort of just understand that Klopp brought them from being a nothing team. Like, to be honest, they were nothing.
Well, they were on a downward spiral, sure. Sort of like United now.
Well, you know, United has been on a downward spiral
Since Ferguson
since
left.
2014. Yeah, we've been bad. But that's what I'm saying, though. It's like for Jurgen Klopp to come in, to have the team he started out with, and to slowly build that club up.
I respect
something.
that. I totally respect that.
I think that is total, like, deserving for respect, but I do think it's sometimes ridiculous when you try to compare him to someone of, let's say, of Pep Guardiola's
Guardiola, Mourinho, Ferguson,
Here's the thing: if he had done it multiple times, like for example, when he made it to 2 Champions League finals back to back, if you had won them back to back, then I don't think we'd be able to say anything. And even the Prems, the first time around, he could have won it, but sort of choked it within that season.
Yeah, I mean, when people talk about Klopp, yes, he did a great job rebuilding one of the biggest clubs in the world to being an absolute powerhouse again, and a team that everyone is afraid to face.
But also, it was a team that was underrated because all the names they brought in, no one was expecting to.
Yeah, no, great job recruiting, bringing in players that now, are world class, right? But he hasn't built a dynasty yet. A dynasty isn't 2 big titles. It's a dynasty is sustained success over a period of time. They've won 2 big trophies.
Yeah, but in a world where City reigns supreme, where it's whoever outspends City can sort of get to that next line.
No one outspends City, right?
Well,
and that's what you need nowadays to succeed.
But in all honesty, though, let's say you're Liverpool, right? And last season, I called this. I said to all of our Liverpool friends, but they all disagree with me, saying I'm wrong. But if Liverpool did not spend the money and catch up on recruiting for their squad depth, they will be annihilated in the league. They will do horrendous, and look what happened last year.
No, agreed. I just think if somebody offers me a team to play in a final or in a decisive league match, I still pick Liverpool over City. I'd want to play Liverpool. I'm still afraid to play City.
I would play City.
I just think
The thing is that Pep Guardiola has too many slip-ups. Like, there's been so many times where United has won the derby when they had no right to. When City were clearly levels above the team that we had.
Yeah, that's also just
but
football,
also,
right?
Yeah, but those are big, decisive games. Like, the Manchester derby is the biggest derby in the world, though.
Oh, relax there.
What is a better derby? What is a better derby?
El Clásico?
El Clásico is not a derby.
Like 18 different derbies in South America?
Derby. Okay, that's South America. Dude, a derby we're talking about between 2 clubs that live in the same city. Barcelona and Madrid are not the same city.
Oh, but it's still a derby. It's still a massive match.
It's not as big as it used to be.
I don't know, man.
No one cares to tune in to watch Ansu Fati and Vinicius Jr. go against each
I don't know.
other.
I don't know about that. I think the attendance would say otherwise.
Yeah.
Considering, with all due respect, Barcelona's women's team just broke the world record.
Yeah, the women's game is on form
Regardless.
for all over right now.
Real Madrid just knocked out the champions of Europe.
Yeah.
Real Madrid just knocked out the champions of Europe.
Oh wow, I love how you do this. You love just like twisting things and make it.
But I'm saying,
no, but here's the thing. You always have to twist something to somehow make yourself right. Okay.
Oh no, listen, I'm just saying. Manchester United, Man City. It would be a great derby if United was any good.
Okay, what you mean? Besides this last game that happened where we got absolutely annihilated, it's been a close derby every time.
Well, that's only because United sits back and hopes for the best. But
coming from the Chelsea fan, really sit back and hope for the best. Yeah.
Well, listen, I'll take it. We won the Champions League conceding the fewest amount of goals ever.
But I'm just saying you can't. But the point I'm trying to make is that you can't say that and then be like, oh, because they sit back.
Oh, but I can. We're currently a quality side while United struggled for the last 8 years.
Okay, we're both struggling in the same regard. We might be seventh right now, but you just got knocked out of the Champions League.
You're not even in the Champions League.
Okay, but we got knocked out just as well. Like you can't make these arguments
We're
right
third
now.
place in the league. You're fighting for Europa Conference League qualification.
Okay, cool. Like it doesn't matter. Are you like you
Listen,
can't,
I love. Just to be clear for anyone listening, I massively respect Manchester United, but they need to get their act together. Is all I'm saying.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, that's understandable.
I feel like we're at a family dinner and this, or like every day. We argue like this every day for the listeners at home.
Yeah, because here's the thing. Like Besmir and I were controlled about it. We know when to be right and when we're wrong. But then when you have Besmir's dad into the picture, he's like, "Oh, Bajo, no, Bajo, no."
Listen, my dad is a Chelsea fan like myself, and he and I will argue because after yesterday's result, the entire sporting world is backing Thomas Tuchel. My dad wants him fired.
Here's the question: do you agree with that starting lineup against Real Madrid? Personally,
everyone except Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Lord have mercy.
I don't. But even Marcus Alonso, dude. Like I get it. He had a disallowed goal yesterday.
Yeah, he had a great game. Who else are you gonna play left wing back? If Ben Chilwell is healthy, he starts. Who else is gonna play left wing back for us?
Personally, I think you have a better chance of having maybe a Reece James play out of position at left wing back, and maybe put Azpilicueta out right. Or you have Azpi play left.
But that's the thing. We would have been dismantled if Reece James wasn't playing the right center back role where he was yesterday.
I mean, he was playing right back though. You guys were playing a back four yesterday.
No, it was a back five with Loftus-Cheek. He just didn't like to defend.
But you guys were playing a back four. You're not trying to defend the back five.
No. It was a back five.
It was not a back five.
Ruben Loftus-Cheek was the right wing back.
Dude, no. Ruben Loftus-Cheek was just in the middle the whole time. That's basically what he was
Ruben
doing.
Loftus-Cheek was out of position. Ruben Loftus-Cheek was attempting to play right wing back yesterday. He was doing it very poorly. Once again, that I've never heard my dad so upset. My dad got up and left the room like 4 times during. He's like, I'm done watching this.
But that's the thing. Like, if you're gonna play at the 5 at the back, why would you not just have Christensen, Rudiger, Thiago Silva?
Well, they needed Reece James for the pace to keep Vinicius.
Yeah, Reece James out wide. Have him run that whole entire right side.
Yeah, but he's just what did Vinny Jr. do in the first match against Chelsea? He burned them alive because Christensen isn't quick. Thiago Silva has the same pace as I do. No, listen, he's still world class, but
you have to understand though. Like last game, Real Madrid were able to pull you guys apart because they attacked you guys at your pressure points. They had purposely put Valverde on Marcus Alonso, basically make sure that he was able to just intercept the ball and not let Alonso be able to do anything, dude.
No, listen, I would totally disagree with you. Coming from the simple fact that Reece James coming at the right center back position.
Okay, but
was there for his pace.
Okay, but
he needed to be there.
But here's the thing. But then just tell me this: who would you have in that starting lineup? Like, what would be your starting lineup there?
The only difference I would make would be Loftus-Cheek for Azpilicueta. I would leave Reece James at the right center back role. Christensen would get burned by Vinny Jr.
I think there's also a bigger issue.
Real Madrid too much pace.
With having Werner and Mount starting up top over
Pulisic
and a Ziyech. I think Mount should have played more central in front of a Kovacic and a Conte, but
that's how you know you're not a Chelsea supporter. Oh God.
Yeah, because I'm rational. Are you kidding me? Hakim Ziyech, as soon as he came on yesterday, showed why he should be starting for Chelsea.
No, the second Werner came off, we lost control of the match.
We did not lose control of the match.
We completely did. Did you watch the whole match?
I watched the whole match, dude.
Oh Lord. The second Pulisic came on for Werner, we lost control of the whole match.
What do you mean?
Werner was dangerous the entire match.
Okay, so was Pulisic. As soon as Pulisic came on, he created 3 chances for you guys, dude.
But he didn't score any of them.
Okay,
Werner did.
Okay, Werner got a lucky goal, dude.
Oh, don't call that goal. That's
That is
so
all
disrespectful
luck,
to him.
dude. Are you kidding me? That's not disrespectful, dude.
Oh my Lord. Listen, if you were to sit and watch like the movement of the Chelsea players yesterday when they were in possession, like when they created Werner's goal, it was if any of my players ever listen to this, it's all just passing and moving and players rotating out of the midfield. It was a Thomas Tuchel he nearly put on a masterclass yesterday.
Look, I agree. Tuchel did a great job yesterday.
Werner was phenomenal. I would argue to the end of time.
I'll argue to the end of time that Pulisic should have started.
What?
Pulisic is more effective for that Chelsea team than Timo Werner.
All right. Now let's move on. Let me tell you about what United should be doing.
Okay, yeah, dude, please. Because honestly, they ran out of ideas.
Watching every Chelsea match week in, week out. Well, every 3 days in, 3 days out, because they play at least twice a week now.
Yeah.
Werner from South. He scored 2 goals against Southampton. Hit the post 3 times.
Yeah.
Came in, played well. My argument would have been this: Werner should have been kept on the field. If anything, I would have pulled Loftus-Cheek out.
He shouldn't start.
And put Pulisic out right wing back like he's played a few times.
I think we both agree that Loftus-Cheek should have not played at all yesterday.
I would have played Pulisic even at the right wing back. Well, if you're not going to bring Azpilicueta and you want to keep some pace out there, put Pulisic at the right wing back position.
Okay.
Yeah, he's slightly out of position, sure. And then if you are going to make a sub, it has to be Ziyech for Mount. First of all, Kai Havertz is class.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Let Ziyech step in and play with Werner and Havertz. Havertz and Werner make wonderful runs. Mason Mount brings a lot of energy. I think Mason Mount was one of our best players yesterday.
That's why
always
I
consistent.
don't disagree with him not starting yesterday, but I think personally, when you look at Mason Mount, you see that he thrives at his best when he's at a midfield 3.
Well, it depends. I mean, I think. Listen,
Because think about it, as a cam, you're able to just make your freeloading runs wherever you want to go. That's where he sort of prefers.
Well, we can talk about different starting lineups, right, the entire day. However, they went up 3-0 with the lineup that Tuchel put out there. So they clearly did the job.
Yeah, but that's Tuchel doing his thing,
But Loftus-Cheek starting was a reason for that. And he has to have his own reasoning behind it. It might have been his aggressiveness, he had to do Kyle Walker movements into the midfield.
Or the thing is with Loftus-Cheek, he's really good at pressing on the ball, as what we've seen when he's played at Fulham or Crystal Palace or his small moments of playing at Chelsea. He's very good at pressing people on the ball.
Yeah, well, listen, he's a big boy, isn't he? So
yeah.
They may have wanted his physical presence in there. I mean, I had this argument with my dad yesterday. Like we can say whatever we want, but after being 3-1 down and everyone in the world, including myself, writing Chelsea off, still having hope, but writing them off.
Yeah. In
the second leg, to come out and to be under, it wasn't just another game for Chelsea. The club's currently being sold under all the craziness that's happening with all the sanctions. Tuchel has his own personal drama going on. Player contracts not being renewed. Christensen, Rudiger not knowing if they're staying or going next season. With all of this happening, for Tuchel to say, and then get beaten by Real 3-1, get hammered 4-1 by Brentford at home, 2 big home losses, to come out and respond the way Chelsea did, it shows exactly the reason why Thomas Tuchel deserves to stay at Chelsea as long as he wants.
Yeah.
He has.
But I think right now what you're doing is you're defending Tuchel when you have no need to. I'm not arguing with you about that. I don't think there's an issue with what Tuchel's been doing.
Well, he's shown that his decisions yesterday were the reason we went up 3-1. We concede that one of our goals yesterday, the second goal, because of a Ruben Loftus-Cheek error, he gives the ball away just on the edge of our defensive third. They go and they score a goal. And he loses it. He's out of position.
But then also that Modric pass, bro.
Oh, listen, it's...
Dude, as soon as I saw that happen, I'm like, Chelsea deserves to lose, bro. That's class right there.
It's funny. Did you see the announcers? They're Tony Cruz is mouthing "Why me?" When he got subbed off, and then Modric does that. Well, that's why you got pulled off, Tony.
He also had a few missed free kicks.
Yeah. I mean, when I look at the big difference is Real Madrid made all the substitutions that came out for Real Madrid, all the substitutes were all class, were all effective.
Camavinga, dude, I don't know how he's not starting consistently for that team.
Yeah, he was solid. Everyone that came on was amazing for Real yesterday.
Because I don't think what people don't understand is that if you just have Valverde and Camavinga just covering all this space for Modric will still be that world-class player who won a Ballon d'Or,
Yeah, well, I think, with all due respect to Ancelotti, I think Carlo went out and put out the midfield three with the most experience that wouldn't, that would be able to control the game and kind of keep the result, And in all fairness, it would have worked if Chelsea hadn't been, if they hadn't reacted. Most teams don't react like that.
No.
And go out and, remember, Chelsea got knocked out yesterday. They won the match 3-2.
Yeah, they did.
In all fairness, they did. It was 3-1 at the end of 90 minutes, at the end of regulation, and that needs to be applauded plenty. And then the fact that
there's also the issue of like why are we changing the away goal rule though?
Oh, we can step into that. That VAR, a lot of these recent rule changes, don't make me happy.
Look, VAR, it has its place, but sadly, it's being misused.
Yes.
There's times where VAR should only be stepping into play if there's a serious call missed or miscalled. That's all it should be.
Well, I think there's certain things like, for example, the goal Chelsea scores.
Yeah.
Where we got a corner, but it wasn't a corner. Now, you're not going to go back and look at that call. But you go back 10 seconds earlier, like, was there a foul, in the defensive third before we went and scored a goal, 10 passes later?
Yeah, that's...
It's ridiculous,
It shouldn't be used as a rewind feature. It should be used as like a proactive feature.
Yeah,
it should be if they're proactively seeing a foul and it's not being called, not even to the point of advantage, right? Because we understand that you can't interfere with what the referee sees as advantage for the game. But if something's so blatant that's being missed, there's serious issues there.
Yeah, honestly speaking, the excitement of playing a match, and now it's different in the Prem because the quality of officiating has
dropped,
has been thrown off a cliff.
Yeah.
Like the cliff's the Grand Canyon.
Mm-hmm.
It's taken some excitement away, right? That disallowed Marcos Alonso goal yesterday because it skimmed his hand instead of just hitting off his torso before he put a bullet into the top corner with his right foot. Gets called back. A lot of these marginal offside calls they make in most matches. I enjoy the craziness of officials getting a call wrong, of everyone like that drama is something that's been taken away from the beautiful game that honestly I enjoy the madness, and it goes with the away goal rule. Like yeah. I think the away goal rule just made everything that much more entertaining.
Well, yeah, because it also made people have to work harder when they're away from home.
Yeah, it just made everything more difficult. Like show up to Anfield.
Yeah.
Show up to Anfield and score a goal. If you can score a goal and take a 1-1 draw at Anfield, you deserve to be up a bit.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a daunting place to play from what I've heard or what I've seen. Every manager says Anfield there's something different about it. Or you go to the Theater of Dreams, or you go to the half-full Etihad. It's the away goal rule just made everything a little more hectic. And honestly, everyone loves some madness in their lives.
100%.
Right, but in the right places. The away goal rule is just so much fun. Like trying to explain to someone who doesn't follow the sport why some goals are worth more than others, but they're not really, but they are.
Yeah.
That's, and then VAR and stuff like this. They might as well start giving coaches red flags so they can start challenging plays.
Honestly, at this point,
I think some of the stuff is just ridiculous. But I understand the point behind VAR. Like, listen, goal line technology, brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a lover of Frank Lampard and his biggest supporter. Love the man. Against Germany, his goal doesn't get counted because there's no goal line technology in the World Cup against Germany. Germany goes and embarrasses England the other way after that goal. Entire momentum shifts. Chelsea's on their way to embarrass Real Madrid at what's called in the Champions League last night. Marcos Alonso's goal gets ridiculously called offside because if it hits his hand and he scores, it doesn't count. But if it hit his hand like that and his teammate puts it in the back of the net, it suddenly is okay because it's not directly involved. Oh, come on, give me a break.
Yeah, it's a tough time.
Yeah, but I mean, I can complain all day. I'm just very proud of the performance Chelsea Football Club put in yesterday.
With the teams that are left, who do you think is going to win?
It's tough, man.
You have a Real Madrid side that's not going to give up. You have maybe Man City or Atletico.
I think City wins.
I think City wins as well. Because they were able to nick a goal the first time around, and that was with Atletico having zero possession whatsoever and just defending.
I mean, I would love to see Villarreal win.
Yeah.
I would love to see them win. Everyone loves a good underdog story. And at the same time, if I have my pick, I think City-Liverpool get through today. And I don't want either of them to win it.
To be honest, I hope neither City nor Liverpool make it through, and it's Atletico and Benfica.
Oh, I would love that. I mean, not to be sour or anything, but to have another English side win the Champions League, especially Liverpool fans, we'll never hear the end of it.
Here's the thing, I'd much rather hear. Actually, I wouldn't much rather hear City fans cheer about it either.
Well, because then Guardiola's the greatest manager in history. And
yeah, but he's not.
We are the greatest club. We're the biggest club in the world. Like, you'd hear a lot of that crazy stuff. I would consider Real Madrid winning it okay because, hey, just let them win it. They've won plenty. Listen, what's the big difference between 13 and 14 Champions League titles?
Or let Villarreal win it. Or Benfica.
Big underdog story would be phenomenal. Or maybe Atleti pulls the upset today. I think City are massive favorites over Atleti.
Well, here's the crazy thing, right? Let's say if hypothetically Benfica makes it through, because I'm a believer in this, right?
Very impossible, but okay.
Then it's Benfica versus Villarreal,
That's a good match. That would be so much fun to watch.
Yeah, that would be. So here's the thing, right? So let's move on from the Champions League because we have, a tough choice to make. And right now, we see that we have, the Premier League looking a little suspect today, Something's looking a little off. I'm not talking about United. I'm saying this right now. I'm not talking about United. What are you thinking, Besmir?
Looking at the Premier League, right? What's the right way to put it? I'm happy because Chelsea looks to hopefully have secured third place. Now with no Champions League left, we have an FA Cup semifinal against Palace this weekend. And after that, it's, obviously I believe we'll beat Crystal Palace. We beat Palace, and then our focus is only on the Prem the rest of the season.
Yeah.
We secure third place, and for what's been a transition, not even a transition year for Chelsea, but a season full of a lot of questions and hurdles for the club. We win our game in hand. We are 9 points behind City. That's not the end of the world. It's not too bad of a season. Finishing third. Right now we're 9 points behind City. A couple slip-ups for them or Liverpool puts us a little closer. We don't have a Champions League to worry about anymore. We are solely focused on the league and the FA Cup at this point. Looking at everyone else in the table, I think City wins the title regardless. The only way City doesn't is if they make the Champions League final and they have to pick and they go to rest players in their last match for whatever reason. But I don't even think that happens with Manchester City's depth, and even the schedule they have coming up. They play what's going to be a great match on Saturday against Liverpool. But then they have Wolves, Brighton, Watford, Leeds, Newcastle. Aston Villa on the last day of the season. But then they have West Ham, maybe Leeds United because of Jesse Marsch being brilliant with them right now. I think City doesn't really even lose a match rest of the season.
That was an underrated appointment, no, of Jesse Marsch. I feel like a lot of people didn't really understand what he could actually do for Leeds, and I feel like that's wrong because we've seen him for the Red Bull Group for the longest time just be on top form and be top class for them.
Yeah, Jesse Marsch. Well, first of all, before we even get into him, I read an article about him yesterday and how crazy he was as a player, and it was brilliant. Him getting into fist fights and stuff with his teammates, and I forget which teammate it was. Get into a fight in training, teammate knocks him out in one punch. It was hilarious. Now, not that I'd ever condone violence on the training ground or any of that, but that's brilliant. And then the next day, him and the same teammate are carpooling to practice. I just think that was hilarious. It was that whole article was just hilarious. I thought it was brilliant. It just kind of shows the character because you watch Jesse Marsch now, and Jesse Marsch is this composed and, he's super composed, professional, cool-headed until he gets mad at the refs, of course. But his results since he's taken over Leeds have been great. People are saying he's cleaned up Bielsa's mess, but I actually think he's a proper modern progression from the Bielsa methodology at Leeds. Since he's come in, he's pulled results over Watford and Wolves. He's beaten Norwich. It's been all right. Listen, some tough matches. Yeah, everyone has tough, but they've done a pretty decent job, and I think Jesse Marsch will be successful there. And I don't think it's his last job in the Prem. I think Jesse Marsch will be at Leeds for a bit, and eventually, there's a good chance I think Jesse Marsch moves on to a bigger job. I think he's done well.
Well, he was linked for the United job for a long time. I mean, I spoke about it when we did the United episode way while.
God, he didn't get the United job.
Yeah, if he did, he would have been eaten up. He would have been eaten up bad.
6 months in, he'd get the sack, and his career would be over.
Yeah,
he'd end up at Stoke City in League One or League Two, wherever Stoke City is right now. No offense to Stoke, I love Stoke City.
Yeah,
but it's Leeds is a perfect. All you have to do is keep them up, and it's a successful season.
Yeah, but do you think that they were harsh against Marcel Bielsa?
I think there comes a time, and remember, I'm a Chelsea fan, so we're quick to give everyone the sack.
Yeah.
Right now, Leeds are sitting in 16th place. Right? People might think that looks comfortable and whatnot, but Everton has two games in hand, 5 points behind. I think Leeds will stay up. I think Everton stays up, just to get this out of the way. I think Burnley, Watford, Norwich are out.
Honestly, I don't want Watford to be out, bro.
Oh yeah, well we don't always get what we want.
I know, because it's I'd much rather see Everton fall and crumble.
Oh, that's rude. No. Why? Why? Because it's Frank Lampard?
No. It's not because it's Lampard. It's because Everton deserve what's coming to them because they've mismanaged managers. They've mismanaged the team. They were so cocky and not putting in any relegation clauses. Because if you look at every other team that finishes 10th or lower, they all have relegation clauses in each of their players' contracts. Every single one of them.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I mean,
it's just they're being ran just as poorly as United, except they don't have the mainstay of United. It's the best way to explain it for them.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say no to that. They're also in a transition period, and the transition periods for an Everton are a lot tougher than United because they don't have the bankroll behind them. They don't have.
Well, Everton, I mean, they've been. You see how much money they've spent in the past 5 years, dude? They've almost outspent City and Liverpool. Very close.
One of those buys were James Rodriguez, who, Lord.
Yeah, but not even James. Let's say when they brought in Davy Klaassen, Gylfi Sigurdsson, and Wayne Rooney within the same transfer window.
Yeah, no, that's. I think. Now, I still have some. I love Frank Lampard. We've spoken about this already today. Frank Lampard's great and all. I'm still struggling to see what his playing style for his teams
as a manager is. Yeah.
You know, he seems to want his teams to play sort of like the first Mourinho side at Chelsea played, where it was all pace and power, and it was, it was grown men battling it out on the pitch for 90 minutes.
Yeah. But that's just sadly what the game is anymore.
Yeah, no, the modern player, and I see this myself, it's players aren't as mature, aren't as developed physically, mentally, emotionally as they were. Now, the great new trend we talk about is how, especially in the area I coach in northern New Jersey, there's a big trend on going to the gym and the whole fitness lifestyle. And so that's brilliant.
But just real quick, you are listening top of the hour, Upper Montclair, WMSC.
Looking at the modern player, it's become more of a challenge dealing with, more young, youthful players. I'm not I wouldn't say immature, but it's just different than the players that Frank Lampard played next to in his first Chelsea Mourinho side.
Yeah.
So whereas you used to have these hard-hitting players, even we see it at the college level,
Mm-hmm.
there used to be grown men fighting it out. It's the easiest way to motivate them used to be, hey, you're competing against each other to earn a spot in our lineup to help our team win. And it's a competition amongst all the players, get after it, get going. Whereas now, from what my experience shows me, is while Jesse Marsh used to get into fist fights with his teammates back in, whenever it was, when he was at Columbus Crew, whereas he used to get into fist fights, nowadays you need teammates, to be best friends and to be willing to fight with each other, for each other, instead of against each other.
Which I think is sort of an improvement into the game, where players now actually have the ability to play with each other,
Yeah, and, with that, it's brought a more fun style of play, to say the least, where everything's gotten super technical now. Everyone in the world, for the most part, is all about attacking football. High press, win the ball back, attack, and repeat, and repeat, and repeat. Now it's led to certain downfalls. Like there's some teams that, across all levels really struggle to absorb pressure and sit in a low block. Tactically it's proven to have some challenges. As a coach, to try and teach players how to absorb pressure in a low block and, to be willing to surrender possession at times is a tremendous task all in itself, because their response is, oh, coach, can't we just high press? And then you try to high press against a side that looks like they have 11 Chavis on the field, and, you get torn apart.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Because, the players, they say something, and because they see it, but then they don't understand what it means to actually execute it,
They're all optimists.
Yeah.
It's
like, oh, coach, we can press high. Yeah, we can press for 90 minutes. I'm like, you do not have the stamina nor the fitness to be doing this. You can calm down over there.
The greatest thing in the world about the innocence of a youth player specifically is they think they have all the energy and quality and talent in the world. Mm-hmm. And it's that confidence, or listen, some players don't have that confidence. I'm lucky where, a big focus at the club I work with at North Jersey FC focuses on building confidence in our players.
Well, speaking of North Jersey FC, we had a great weekend with the boys, yeah?
Yeah, it was. I mean,
the results don't speak it.
The weather didn't either. The weather was miserable.
So here's the thing. So we had our own derby, right, against our local rivals.
Oh yes,
and that game, the weather made no sense. It went from being bright and sunny to nice cool breeze to flurries. Where did those come from? Yeah. To sun showers. Those are nice,
Well, North Jersey FC didn't lose a match this weekend.
No, we didn't.
Our 04s played 2 matches. Our 05, 06 boys played 2 matches. The 04s drew against Jersey Crew, and then they went and they beat... Who'd they beat on? And then they beat Carter SA on Sunday.
Yeah.
And then the 05, 06s had a very tight schedule with 2 matches in a day, which it was excessive, but we have a roster big enough to have 2 teams go to 2 different games.
But also, it was just tough to have some of our boys who are fasting have to play in multiple games,
which, and I know he's going to listen to this, so I'm going to shout Usman out on this. The kid played nearly 2 full matches fasting, and, to see a kid who, we sit there, and you and I were on the bench together for both these matches.
Yeah.
To sit there and really keep a close eye on him to make sure he's doing all right, and, player health and safety is always our top concern. To see him come off the second match and be like, hey, yeah, no, coach, don't worry, I was playing center back. I don't run that much back there. To look at him, that is the youthful exuberance that the modern-day youth player brings, which is amazing. Like,
they just want to play. That's the biggest thing. It's like a lot of these kids, it's always about playing for, not improvement, but playing to prove something, like they're the best or something, whereas kids just want to play. Like, they want to these kids want to play and just have fun.
Yeah, and when you get a good mix of it is when it's the most exciting. Like Coach Lou says, we need soccer junkies.
Yeah.
Kids who, they don't care if they're playing, in an alley 3v3 and, there's goals drawn on walls with chalk, or, using your backpacks as goals, or kids playing an 11v11 match for their club, for their high school, for their town, in a rec league, in a men's pick, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
Those are the kind of players that are the most fun to coach, because you can ask them to do anything. Yeah, coach, that's not a problem. I'll do this. I'll do that. I'll do this. It's
you make me think of my U8 girls. I have this. I have the little dude. She's so tiny, but her name's Annabelle, and I'll just throw her on. I'm just like, Annabelle, just make sure you run to that person. She's like, okay. Like,
and it just does it.
She just like runs. She's like, she's tiny, granted. So every time she steps for the ball, she like falls over. I look at her like, you okay? She's like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm like, okay.
And just gets up and goes again.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I want to say almost innocence of the youth player where, some know how to play the game, figuratively and literally, where they know how to say and do the right things at the right time in front of the coaching staff and whatnot. And that I have massive respect for, because you need to learn how to play the game to succeed. It's just a sad reality that there's more politics involved in sport than there should be.
Well, that's with every part of sport. It's
and life, let's be real.
Yeah, if you look at, let's say, England FA to the U.S. men's national team to the leads at certain youth clubs, it's just a wild time, and a lot of times it's tough just to be able to pick a person, just to be able to pick them. It's like, oh, we're gonna pick Giassi Zardes because he's been playing well for his team. Let's call him up. But it's like, oh, actually, we can't call Giassi because we promised X, Y, and Z person that we do this, and that. And it's just tough,
Yeah, it is. But, that's why
Granted, this is not slander towards Giassi Zardes. I want to make that very clear. I'm not speaking poorly about you, not saying you're involved. Just using you as an example. Thank you.
All right, yeah. I mean, if Giassi's listening to this,
who knows, bro? They might say I'm being slanderous on this show. That is not what we're about.
Yeah, no. I mean, if you want my opinion, I don't think he'll be on the roster for the World Cup.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see what Berhalter does.
Yeah, exactly.
So when you look at all of the, being able to coach youth soccer, I mean, a lot of our players were asked to play double games on Sunday on the 0506 team. They went to that second match. The weather only kept getting colder.
Yep.
An hour and a half after our last match. To step into there and do what they did. To pull ahead 1-0 with 10, 11 minutes left in the match.
I know. Which was a great free kick, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Piotr hit it very, very well. I had no faith he was going to hit target.
Oh, I did. I called it on the sideline. I looked at all the boys. I'm like, this is going in.
Yeah, no, I had no faith in him. I thought he was going to sky it.
You see, just like you, I'm an optimist, but for everything the players do, okay?
Yeah, no, total realist. I'm like, yeah, he's... But I should have known. I mean, he is our leading goal scorer on the team. I think he scored all of our goals this season. We've scored 4 in 4 matches. He has 4 in 4 matches. He, that whole team, that halftime of that match was the most important point of our weekend, because it was 0-0.
The boys were a little slumped. Like, it seemed like they were a little down about something.
They were, some were tired. It had been a long day. They were kind of hitting that slump. it was nap time. It was great napping weather too.
Dude,
brilliant
just
napping
imagine.
weather.
Ugh.
And I kind of went out there, and I wasn't going to tell them anything tactically, honestly. If any of those parents are listening from that team, or anyone that thinks, wow, that must have been some team talk, all of it was pretty much, hey, like, you guys just got to go out there and fight for the next 45 minutes, and kind of just give it all you got.
But the one thing we had also said is that I think it's the biggest issue with the common soccer player within the youth system is that a lot of kids are afraid to play harsh. Like they're afraid.
Oh, to be physical.
They're afraid to be physical. And and the point that you and I had made is that right now you're not playing. I made that point and you listened and then you re-explained it to them, and you actually quoted me. But the point that was made to the kids was that you're not playing in practice right now against your friends. You're playing in a game, and we have to get the win.
Yeah, and that's where this innocence of the modern day player comes in. Where when I used to play, if it was a 50-50 ball,
suds up.
50-50, if I was going for a challenge in a 50-50, like I'm going in to win the ball and leave no doubt in my mind that guy is going to be able to dribble past me with that ball, or he's going to win this ball. I made sure of it.
Yeah.
The modern day player has more feelings towards the other team, and sometimes they are too nice.
Sometimes it's a good thing and it's a bad thing. It's a good thing because there's less like for example, we've had our fair share of fights happening on the pitch when we're not even involved, and we've seen it. It's just overly aggressive. Whereas now these kids, they just want to play and have fun, which is a very good and very positive thing. But sadly, it sometimes doesn't relate into how hard you have to leave it all on there,
Yeah, with these, and I think it's a big reputation thing, right? Everyone wants to make sure they're not known as a dirty player and something, which is I love that. Fair. It's respectable,
Yeah.
No one wants to be known as the next, Gennaro Gattuso, because he was terrifying. Gattuso was an animal, and he's known for being super physical, whatever, and sometimes not in a positive way. Where that halftime talk was, hey, boys, we really have to understand, we'll create more opportunities to goal winning those 50-50s if we go in to win them and not just to challenge for them,
Well,
to go into our mindset to think, okay, I'm going to challenge for this 50-50 versus I'm going in to win this ball.
Because that's the thing.
Different mindsets.
That's the thing with our boys, right? Like, I see them.
They're all so nice.
But here's the thing, right? I see them all as class players. They know what to do. They know what to do when they have the ball at their feet.
Let's be real, not all of them. No offense to some of the boys, but not all of them are class players. Okay, some of them are working very hard to be class players. You know what?
I'm gonna give them the credit that's due. All right, they need to be a little bit fair. So here's the thing, right? The only issue I've seen most of the time with the boys is that when it comes to winning that first ball in the midfield, right? A lot of times, like myself or yourself or any other person that we know, they'll be arms wrapped around making sure they're winning that first ball, whereas they'd much rather wait for them to get that touch and then step in,
Yeah. Well, it's all about this whole finesse thing. Like, hey, let me show you what I can do without getting dirty.
Yeah.
And the good thing is, like you said, we are creating smarter players, or we're trying our best to create smarter players and problem solvers. But sometimes
you gotta get down and dirty.
The easiest way to solve a problem is going for the challenge and win the ball.
Yeah, exactly.
It's, with all credit to them, they went in, they did that in the second half. I think a 1-1 result in that match was fair. They scored with the last kick of the game. But I can't be upset with my players about that. That halftime talk was all about playing with more heart, going out there and giving it all you got for the guy next to you. It was if they recorded it, I would have totally had 3 million views on YouTube or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. That's exaggerating. That's
the comments would have been like, "Wow, who's that guy on the side helping him out?"
Yeah. Isn't that guy from Matchweek?
Isn't that guy from a different club? I don't know.
It was a good weekend for the boys.
Yeah.
In the first match, we let ourselves down. We played opposition we should have beat. We tied them 0-0. Couldn't. We were uninspired in front of goal.
Also,
it was rough.
It was just I feel like the issue was that they didn't know when to take the right chance, because we're all about getting that perfect shot for the perfect goal instead of just like, you don't just take a shot. You know what's gonna happen. Like Piotr's free kick. You think he knew what was gonna happen? No, he was taking a shot and praying for the best. Like,
I feel like that's what a lot of us do most of the time.
honestly,
Is shoot and hope for the best.
kidding me? That describes my very small playing career, dude. Like,
Well, 2/3 of the goals I score ever are I'm gonna hit it very hard towards goal, and hope it works out.
no. You're all about that cross goal shot, bro. You love being on one side and shooting towards the other side of the goal.
See,
that is the only thing you do.
That's how you know you shoot enough and you do it well enough. Where even when you don't know what you're doing, it looks like you do. That's just me trying to hit the ball very hard. And my balance throws me off, so the ball goes that way because I fall the other way. With the modern day player, a lot of people say I have a lot of negative things to say about them. And yeah, are they harder to manage at times? Yes, they are. Not every it's not for every player that falls in this category.
But the thing is though is that the modern player, it makes it way more personable to be their coach though, because before, you were somewhat close, but you weren't as involved, right? It was just that you heard X, Y, and Z. The player told you one thing, and then that was it. Whereas now, you're way more involved in all of your players' lives.
Yeah, so, and the advances in technology mean we are always connected to our players. They have all of the tools and resources possible to consistently analyze and self-reflect. And, the greatest thing in the world is it'll be midnight on a Sunday night, on a Monday night, and I'll get a text from a player, hey, coach, I'm watching our match from this week, from Saturday, and what do you think about XYZ? And my response is always, go to sleep. You have high school. You're in high school. You have school tomorrow. But we record all of our matches at the club.
Yep.
Players have a constant stream of information coming in to be able to assess themselves in matches. Figure out where they went right, where they went wrong, and all that fun stuff. And then at the same time, they have constant feedback. Every successful team has a group chat among the players that's consistently flowing with messages.
Yeah.
And the great thing is, the post-match text, hey, coach, I'm sorry I let you down because I played bad. Hey, dude, it is what it is. Listen, it wasn't your best match. You had some good moments in it. Let's go in and watch the film.
I think players need to understand this. You'll never have a bad match if you always leave it all on the field, right?
Yeah,
realistically,
some players all just it's not good enough, but that's a different story.
Yeah, it's so long as you're out there, you're running as much as you can, you're covering as much ground as you can, you're doing the best that you can. So long as you went out there and you left it all out there, you can't be upset about it. We saw
fair.
that you tried your best. There's nothing to be upset about.
No, that's fair. And the one thing I really respect about players, and the one thing we make a note of at our club, is to make sure players understand that if they're giving it their absolute all and they're working the hardest they can work, and they're passionate and dedicated and committed to developing and helping the team doing their part, that player will never be turned away from our club.
Never.
We believe that there are late bloomers out there. There was a kid who I pulled aside who, when he first joined us a couple years ago, 2 years ago, he's on this 05-06 team.
Yeah. He
struggled to trap a ball. He was just kind of getting into soccer or whatever. He was friends with a couple of boys on the team. Hey, coach, really interested in playing. We'd play him as much as we kind of could. We do play a bit more of a competitive club level. Nothing too crazy high, but it's competitive to the point where.
Well, we play at 3 different flights, no?
Yeah, we play a little bit of it. Between different flights in EDP and the Tri-State Champions League and all this jazz. This player who struggled to properly trap a ball, pass a ball, dribble, all the basics, the fundamentals of soccer, simple technical issues in his game.
I feel like you're describing me right now, and I feel failure.
No, I'm not describing you. I could be, but I'm not.
No.
No, you're brilliant. I love playing with you.
Even on Sundays.
So this kid, he went from doing that to this weekend gets played a diagonal ball from one of our center backs. He's playing on the wing.
Yeah.
or it was center mid or center back, whatever. Ball comes in out of the air, brings it down on his thigh, plays his second touch into the feet of the 10.
Yeah.
And I look at this kid, he comes off 10, 15 minutes later. I look at him, I go, hey, bud, how do you think you just did out there? And he looks at me and goes, huh, okay. Shrugs his shoulders, not too impressed with his old game. I turn to him, I go, let's take a moment for a second and reflect here. So while everyone's doing whatever they're doing, this was in the first match of the day.
Yeah.
I turn to him, I go, remember where you were 2 years ago when you joined us? He goes, yeah, I remember the town and the field. And that's not what I meant. Do you remember the level you were at? He goes, it was okay. I go, no, it wasn't. It was very bad. I was very honest with him. I'm like, listen, you struggle with the very basics, but I'm going to be very honest with you. You've worked harder or as hard as anyone else here. I go, and your development has gone through, you've skyrocketed. You've gone from being able to trap a ball being played to you from 5 yards away to bringing a diagonal ball down on your, a ball out of the air, down on your thigh and playing that second touch into your teammate's feet. I go, you couldn't trap a ball, and you've gone from that to this, to where when we're playing this winter, I'm not sure if you realize, there was times where you had moments that made me go, oh, bleep, what did this kid just do? I just censored myself there.
Yeah.
And he goes, and he turns to me and he goes, hey, Coach, I guess you're right. I go, listen, remember, when we self-reflect, don't just look at the bad things you do, the mistakes you make. I go, you've done some very incredible, especially by the standards you set when you first came to our club. The standards you've set then, you've completely passed. I go, based on that standard, you've been golden. So now we set, and this was towards the end of the match, because I don't talk this much to a player in the middle of a match. Yeah. So after the match, I'm like, hey, because he went back in the second half, because that was the first half conversation. Second half, he goes back in, and we say, he does his thing again. Looks pretty good in the second half. After I'm like, hey, you played a good match today. Yeah, we tied 0-0, but you personally had a good match. I want you to go home and set new standards for what you believe you can accomplish by the end of this season, heading into high school next fall. So I'm excited to see. But those are the players that every coach loves to work with. Those who, even though they might not be the most talented, they are going to work themselves to the bone to make sure they can do what it takes to not just make their parents, their teammates, their coach proud, but themselves proud. And this is the same kid whose confidence has gone through the roof in the last year or so. That is why we do what we do. It's for kids who we can see grow, who might not have had the chance to do it somewhere else because they weren't good enough in the beginning.
Yeah. 100% agreed. Where do we go from here, Bez? Where do we go from here? Because we've had a phenomenal discussion about our boys, or your boys. I'm sorry.
Our boys. No, it's our club, our boys, our teams, our girls' teams. It's our club.
Besides West Orange, that's my team. Huh.
Yeah, well, the West Orange, that girls' team, yes, your team.
Well, that girls' team, man, it's like I want so much for them. I want them to do so well, but then they go we started out 5-0, right? And there's a rule where you're not allowed to have a 5-goal deficit. It's not fair to little kids, and I disagree with it because oh well.
And realistically, how much do the players even at that age pay attention to the score?
Oh, are you kidding me? I have this one girl on the sideline. She has her fingers up, counting it the whole time.
Yeah. She's running on the field with her fingers up. That's 17. We only have 10 fingers. I'm counting with my toes.
Oh my god. Yeah. So then what I did was I put all of our smallest players on the field because I knew it was just if I put 4 small kids on, they're not gonna be able to do anything.
Yeah. That's fair.
Because they're younger.
Well, and you ended up losing that match, didn't you?
No, we tied 6-6.
Oh, okay.
So
talk about a disaster class.
Well,
Lord.
Because the girls.
We got to call Coach Lou. He's got to give you the boot. You gave up a 5-0 lead, worse than PSG.
No, because the issue was that then they switched off, and the little girls, you know that as soon as they start talking in the middle of the field, not caring about the game, you know they've switched off.
Well, I believe players or kids nowadays would say, "Coach sold."
Coach sold.
Oh man,
I did.
You just. Hey, coach, we're giving up a lot of goals. Yeah, it's okay. Have you ever seen the meme of the dog? I guess it's a dog. And the house is on fire, the room's on fire, everything's okay.
Yeah, everything's fine.
That was you, like, dude. Coach, it's 5-5. Yeah, we're okay.
After that game, literally, like Monday and today, we've only been doing defending. That's it. That's all. Coach was like, hey, we do play practice, like, we have to make kids learn through the game. I'm like, nope, not letting that happen again. Nope.
Sit back, absorb pressure. Win the header. Coach Ardi, we're not allowed to head the ball. Head the ball. No. Okay.
But also, it was a little annoying because I had a coach that came in and he said, coach, if you don't mind, we don't do corners. Oh, coach, if you don't mind, we don't use the normal build-out line. We use half of the field. Like, it was a lot of stuff that I was trying to, like, maintain and deal with as, like, being a new coach for a club,
like, in the flow of things,
and then like you don't want to, like, be rude or, like, be seen as like the coach who's, like, mean to, like, or not, like, as helpful to, like, other
bullying little kids.
Yeah, no.
What are you doing?
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying the coach that came in asked for, like, different rules than what we usually have, so I didn't want to be, like, rude to the guy.
Oh man, this was your golden opportunity. You could have totally been like, yeah, but no one's allowed to run. Everyone must hop. You could have come in and be like, everyone should play with one leg tied behind their back.
Dude, like, when you
pull out blindfolds and be like, all players must play blind. Since we're all coming up with our own rules now.
That's what I'm saying, because, like, he didn't want me to make the build out lines. He only wanted to use half the field. He didn't want corners. Like, he tried doing throw-ins, even though his girls couldn't throw in for the life of them. Like. And my girls are asking, like, coach, this isn't how we play. I'm like, I know, just deal with it.
See, this I'm telling you, this was your moment. Hey, everyone must play with their eyes closed.
Coach, we're getting blindfolds. When we're getting pinatas, we're not playing soccer anymore.
And you must play on, like, roller skates.
And, like, we had also moved the game back a half hour, too, to help with the guy's schedule, so it was just.
Yeah, like, that was your golden opportunity. Like, that's what I'm going to start to do. I'm going to have a pre-printed a list of rules. And I'm going to walk up to other coaches and be like, hey, pick 3 of the 5. Select 3 that apply to what you believe we can add to today's match. He's looking at me like, yeah, we're no longer allowing keepers to use their hands. Like, that would be brilliant.
Or the game is split into quarters now,
Every time the ball goes out, it's automatically a penalty. But MLS-style penalties from back in the day.
Yeah, stop. Those, oh my God. They tried... Those MLS-style penalties was like them trying to bring hockey to soccer. It was like, stop.
Yeah, but those are brilliant, man.
Those are entertaining.
All winter long, that's all we did with the club. Is anytime we had penalties, it was running penalty. It was MLS penalties, and that's all the boys ever wanted to do. And the girls, like, they were like, coach, let's do the running penalties. Let's do the running penalties. Just because it's so heartbreaking when you have a guy that is the size of the goal in futsal running at you, and you're trying to place the ball around them. And meanwhile, I'm sitting there as the quote-unquote ref of horrible, but actually world-class. That's a different story. And counting down at different intervals, depending on how much I like the kid. And coach, it's been more than 3 seconds. Nah, it's only been 2 seconds. I got to start my count over again. But like, that is a rule that I would totally add. I would totally play in a tournament. For anyone running youth soccer tournaments in the tri-state area or in the Northeast, you put MLS running penalties into your tournament as a tiebreaker at the end of a match, or no match ends in a tie anymore in youth soccer. Everything is running penalties. That's the excitement.
That is, yeah.
Take 5 minutes off each half. We'll play 80-minute matches so we can do running PKs at the end of the match if it's tied. That is the evolution. If we can include VAR and take away the away goals rule, we're adding MLS running penalties into the Champions League.
It all ties back. We're adding new rules now.
I'm writing a letter, and then I'm to UEFA to include this in next year's Champions League format.
Okay, Arsene Wenger, calm down over there.
No. He's currently doing whatever FIFA asks him to do. He's all over the world as their advocate, but
yeah, because a World Cup every 2 years. Imagine that.
Yeah, no thanks. But going back to where we were. Where were we?
We were at my girls tying 6-6.
Yeah, and you selling.
So, dude, I'm being dead serious. Monday, it was nothing but defending. Now today, it's going to be nothing but defending.
You're punting balls in the air. Trap it, kick it, clear it. Put your body on the line.
No, okay. No, so I've actually kept it really simple. What I just do is I have the girls, like, run in a straight line, and I teach them how to run to the ball and put their foot in. Because a lot of times they'll go in and they'll kick their knee and not like actually go for the ball.
I love the phrase "attack the ball."
Yeah.
Attack the ball, and they go and they hit the ball.
Yeah. But sometimes because I tried that, I said that, and this girl Ashley just went in and trampled the kid.
No, the ball has feelings. That's why I just draw a happy face on the ball. I'm like, no, the ball is happy. It wants you to kick it.
I'm not gonna lie. There's one girl we can see it against, but like she was tinier than my tiniest person, and like at that point, it's like you can't be mad that she scored because she's like. It was
because the size difference. Yeah, it's smallest kid on the field. Messi's one of the smallest people on the field as well. You know.
I know.
Yeah, that's why nobody cares when Messi scores. Yeah, it's okay. We let that guy score.
Yeah, Ronaldo, no, we couldn't stop him. It was impossible. You know.
Yeah. So I have a story for you.
Lay it on me.
During that halftime talk, there was a gentleman on the field next to us that was watching our boys play.
Oh yeah, I know who we're talking about.
You know. He was there with his son and his father, whoever that other guy was.
Mm-hmm.
He ended up being friends with Jonathan, who's another, for those who don't know, Coach Jonathan is another member of our staff, was at the match as well. Ended up being friends with him, and he's like, hey, the boys seem to have a great time when they're playing. We have a bunch of boys over in a town where I coach as a volunteer parent coach, and we have a bunch of good players, what's the club about? And Jonathan's a great representative for our club.
He's also a great salesman. Let's not forget that is Jonathan's main career.
Yeah, but he's a great ambassador because he embodies what we believe to be some of our core values, and he's honest. It's all about the truth with him, being straightforward. Doing things because they're the right thing to do. And he's asking the questions. One on the guy's like, "Hey, we have training on Tuesdays. If you are free to come by. We're at this field, and the town was in Dover. For those listening, Dover is a largely Hispanic town out in Morris County near Rockaway.
A phenomenal soccer program.
Some great players that come in, and we showed up to practice last night. The best thing in the world was they have a small-sided field on one side, and then they have a larger-sided field with a bunch of grass space where there's pickup games always happening, and then there's this little ice cream truck that just stays parked in one of the spots all day. Phenomenal soft serve. I'm a vanilla with rainbow sprinkles kind of guy.
I'm just a plain vanilla soft serve, but with gummy bears.
Oh, that sounds good right now. And it's nice weather time. I'm going to have ice cream again today.
Should we go to Curly's?
Oh, we totally should.
After this, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm down.
I'll even let you treat because you're a nice guy.
Aww.
So we get there, and you look at this place. There were soccer players and soccer goals everywhere. Kids playing small-sided here. On the small patch of grass here, there's grown men playing over there. There's a girls' team on the other half of the field. There's a little bit of everything.
Mm-hmm.
So we're walking around the park. We're watching, and just enjoying. That is where soccer grows in this country. Is those in those areas where everyone's playing soccer. You have the dads on the sideline watching the training sessions to make sure their kids really developing, and all they're doing is playing, I turn to Jonathan, I say, this is where you find the best players, because right now, these kids, and there was part of the field where there was kids that were 3 feet tall and maybe 12, 13 years old, to high school, college aged, and older men.
Yeah.
All just playing pickup soccer together. They put 4 cones, 2 goals on each side, 1 goal on each side of the field, and they were playing 9v9, 10v10 to small little coned goals. And it was amazing.
Yeah.
It was amazing. And the gentleman we spoke to, had us come in, kind of, hey guys, a lot of you guys look good out there. Keep up the good work. There's always something you can be doing, and there's always people watching. And even if there is no one watching, just do the right thing. All that whole spiel.
Yeah.
Just keep going, keep pushing. But in that community, that park was amazing. It was soccer everywhere. There's people of every gender, religion, sexual orientation. Not that we asked or anything, but
Yeah.
there was every background, every kind of person,
All different types of diversity was
and
there.
it was just amazing. It was amazing, and that is, so we spent like an hour and a half at the field. And it was just nice to see kids having fun.
Yeah, dude, that's
in such a structured world where, the club that had the training sessions going on is like a town travel team. And like at West Orange, it's play, practice, play.
Yeah.
Let the kids play. That the game teaches them best, especially at that level where you have volunteer parents.
Yeah.
Let the kids play. And it was just so refreshing.
Yeah.
It brought a smile on my face. The fact that I was able to eat vanilla soft serve with rainbow sprinkles and walk around a park and be surrounded by soccer, and everyone's playing and everyone's celebrating goals and yelling, and the men playing in a pickup game over there are arguing over a goal that wasn't a goal but was a goal, and it was great.
Yep. So here's the thing. I want to introduce a new segment. It's called Will Thursdays Happen? So for those of you who don't know, Besmir and I have had 3 weeks in a row where our Thursday games have been canceled.
Oh my
so,
God!
Besmir,
say that again.
what is your prediction? Will we have a game tomorrow night? Yes or no?
I mean, I feel like the league was supposed to start like a month ago.
It did. We played one game in the pouring rain.
And that our teammates didn't know about.
Down 2 guys, and we only lost by 1 goal. I'll take it.
That was impressive. That game was miserable.
It was.
I felt like it was hailing half the
But
time.
here's the thing. I would rather take that game than the game we played in the snow first week. Snow and
that
cold.
one was fun too. But those are games. Whether I'm playing, coaching, whatever, reffing, when I was reffing quite a bit, I always tell people the most miserable weather games are the games you'll always remember.
Yeah, because you're the most miserable.
But it's like those are like the greatest memories. Like pulling a win out when it's like 10 degrees out and snowing in a state cup second round.
Yeah.
Like those are brilliant. Everyone talks about the Snow Classico or whatever they called it when the U.S. played and they were shoveling the field while the game was playing.
Was that the game in Minnesota when it was
May have been Minnesota.
Not U.S. versus Costa Rica. It was the actual MLS League game.
No, I'm talking about the U.S. national team game against Costa Rica. Yeah,
where there was also a MLS League game where it was, I think, Atlanta United versus the
it may have been Minnesota United.
Minnesota FC, right?
Minnesota United.
Yeah, Minnesota United FC.
Yeah, like I watched that U.S. game on TV that day, and I remember like ball would go to the left side of the screen, the people would run onto the field and shovel off the lines on the right side of the field.
I don't know. Honestly,
it was such a mess, but those are the best games.
Yeah, but that's also sort of like pathetic from the men's national team, if you ask me. Like, just have a game in normal weather. Like, that's not fair to like the Costa Ricans just having to like go with those like dirty tactics.
Sounds like their problem. Listen, take any advantage you can get. Now, the one thing I've always said is the toughest thing about this country and the way the soccer, our national team is run, we don't have one real home field.
Oh, yeah.
However, if you can pull one over in World Cup qualifying or something, if it was up to me, build a stadium in Alaska. Make Costa Rica take a flight all the way to Alaska.
No, they would have to stop somewhere and then take Alaskan Airlines.
Yeah, let them use. I believe the Timbers, Portland Timbers, Alaskan Airlines, their sponsor, right?
Yeah.
Let them fly to Portland and then to Alaska, and then take a dog sled to the stadium for all I care. Let them play with a grizzly bear or on the field or whatever, a black bear roaming the field. Anything for the advantage, because that's what you'd get in some of these countries in in CONCACAF or CONMEBOL, where like you'll show up to train at a field and they flooded the field the day before the match just because they can.
Yeah.
But I think our match will go on this week. I mean, I hope so. It's supposed to be like 85 degrees tomorrow.
Yeah, but also rain, supposedly.
85 degrees. Sorry, it's too warm to play the game today.
No, there's also supposed to be rain tomorrow as well, which I'm worried about.
So let's see. We're going to look at that right now. Wow, right now it's in Little Falls, New Jersey. It's 70 degrees right now. Expected high of 75. Oh, it's thunderstorms tomorrow.
Yeah, you see what I said, bro? That's why I said new segment. Are we going to play tomorrow, yes or no?
We're never going to play.
We really are.
So I could have taken this money, invested it in the S&P 500 and made a killing. Oh, my God.
Business words, am I right?
Oh, wow, wait. It looks...
What does it look like? Tell me. Give me
Tomorrow's
hope.
gonna be a high of 84 in Lincoln Park, and Lincoln Park is close enough to Wayne, where we play in the league.
It's literally you take a 5-minute ride, a 5-minute walk down the train tracks in Lincoln Park,
Yeah.
and our field's right there.
Yeah, but if our game gets canceled tomorrow, I'm gonna eat a gallon of ice cream, and I'm lactose intolerant. Okay, that will very much upset me.
Dude,
Nothing will pull me out of that depression if we have a month's worth of games canceled. And the worst thing is the league doesn't say anything. They copy and paste the same email.
oh yeah, exactly.
Now, are we getting too bent over a 7v7 league? No, we're not. This is ridiculous.
Really?
I will play in Thunder and Light. No, I won't.
Not lightning. Thunder, okay, no lightning.
Well, they come hand in hand.
No. Thunder's just loud noises.
But I'm not the one. I'm not the one touching the goalposts. So let's be real. I'm not as big of a target.
R.I.P. to Coach John.
All right. Hey, listen. It was nice knowing. Actually, your brother's in net tomorrow night.
Arch, I don't think Red Bull 2 is gonna want you in the net when it's Thunder and lightning.
Sounds like his problem. But yeah, no. I hope our game's on tomorrow. I mean, we'll have to see. You know. I'm tired of losing on Sunday night, so hopefully Thursday nights we can start playing some wins.
Sunday got me so upset. That's it. I've never been upset while playing. Sunday is the most upset I've ever been while playing.
I was distraught after the game until I got to my car and then realized, wow, I really am washed up, aren't I?
Stop.
I just let a 77 game ruin my whole mood and attitude, and yeah, that comes with the competitiveness in myself. But
I don't think it's competitive. I think it's just because like
it ruined my day.
I ruined my day too.
I woke up Monday morning thinking about it.
So did I.
It's Wednesday. We're still talking about it.
No, because you gotta understand, right? It's like it wasn't the fact that like, oh, we just closely lost. Like, oh, this just barely happened. Like, we were bad. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts, or other ways to explain it. We were bad. And I know what face you're making right now. You were just as bad as the rest of us.
Moving on.
No. This is my show. I get to control it.
No, well, when they had that older guy up top, I felt like I was Lightning McQueen out there. I felt like I was Ronaldo reincarnated.
Oh yeah,
like,
dude. Yeah, no.
I looked so quick up against like a 35-year-old, 40-year-old guy. The guy was probably older than that too.
Yeah, probably.
I looked good, and he had a bum knee. Well, the one knee.
Wait, did you score that night or no?
Did anyone score that night?
I think we scored one goal. I thought no.
I remember, but the week before.
Oh yeah, you had a thunderbolt, and then
Once again, you
and
don't
then
believe
I
me. Hit it as hard as you can towards goal.
And then I put us in the lead, and I leave. What happens?
Oh, we fell apart.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, it shows your dedication to our team. I mean.
Excuse me.
Imagine.
Intramural MSU. I am the El Capitan. I cannot leave my boys
Imagine
behind.
Benzema going, all right, my job's wrapped up, and walking off the pitch. Like after the first leg, I'm not playing the second leg.
Dude, it was a scheduling conflict, and you had more than capable players to finish off that game.
Clearly, we did it.
Clearly, we did it. Oh my God. Let's see. Okay, so what have we covered? Champions League. We never picked a winner for the Champions League. Villarreal. That's it. That's what we're going with. Matchweek official.
No,
Villarreal.
I don't think they. I think City wins it this year. I think City will win it this year,
I
but
hope not. And then
City, Liverpool, Real most likely. Villarreal being the big underdog.
And then Premier League. So here's the thing, right? If we look at Prem, points and everything, the teams that have to really worry, actually, it's not that far in between. Between 17th and 9th, there's a 12-point difference. So within that 12 points, you have Crystal Palace and tied at 10 with Brighton. Brighton has 37 points. Aston Villa and Brentford are tied. Actually, no, Aston Villa, Brentford, and Southampton are tied on points with 36. Then you have Newcastle with 34, Leeds with 33, and then finally Everton with 28. Think about how big of a point differential that is just between the lower half of the league. Whereas there's only 12 points in between 9th and 17th. But if you look in between first and 7th, it's like 23 points.
Can those at the bottom of the Prem, Burnley, Norwich, Watford, and relegated?
Dude, I don't want Watford to be relegated, bro. Cycling GK, Ben Foster, bro.
If Everton was to get relegated, they might burn Goodison Park to the ground.
They'll collapse. Like the club will actually collapse.
Well, in that case, if anyone from Everton is listening, my services are open. I'll work for free. Burnley gets relegated. Tarkowski might finally have a way out.
But they just brought in Weghorst, bro, and he's been a phenom.
I love watching him play.
Dude,
he's so much fun.
6'6", and he's more and he's actually like crazily mobile. Like he's actually like agile for being 6'6".
Yeah, I know. Puts Peter Crouch to shame.
And then Brentford, Southampton, and Aston Villa, all 3 tied. But I mean, Aston Villa's on a losing streak right now. They just lost 4 games on the bounce.
Yep, time to give Gerrard the sack.
Okay. We are not harsh like Chelsea over here. Right? We give people chances, Besmir.
And that's why in the last 2 decades, Chelsea's been the most successful club in England.
But listen, the only club I've seen more harsher with managers is Watford. They've already gone through 5 this season. I think they've gone through about 13 managers in the past 4 years. Not even as a joke.
So then what do you think the odds, like Ben Foster leaves Watford if they get relegated?
Well, supposedly...
I would take my Chelsea as a backup.
No, supposedly from listening to the Cycling GK podcast,
which is brilliant.
His dream is to
MLS?
play in the U.S. He wants to play in the U.S. So if he goes to the U.S., bye who's ever Red Bull's goalkeeper.
Well, North Jersey FC might have a team in the Garden State Soccer League next season.
No.
He's more than welcome to come play for us.
We need him at the Red Bulls because then you know what, Matchweek and Cycling GK collab. You know.
That's. Yeah, so Ben Foster, if you're listening...
Ben Foster, please help me.
If you're listening...
Please.
Why?
Please. Why?
Did you enjoy my story of our youth team? Like
or do you enjoy the fact of how much of a hopeless Manchester United fan I am?
It's currently 5 p.m. in England, and you're listening to a radio show out in the United States.
Yep, on WMSC.
Yes, 90.3.
Wow, you remembered. I'm proud of you.
No, it just says it right here in front of me 8 times.
Yep, yeah, you don't have to remember.
The voice of Montclair State.
The voice of Montclair State.
You know, it's Ben Foster's quality. I thoroughly enjoy getting his perspective and all of these shows on Amazon and on Amazon Prime and stuff where they go into depth and follow teams around and stuff. I think are brilliant.
Yeah, but I think that you have to take them with a grain of salt because at the end of the day, it's being tracked on it's. I don't think it's truly as truthful as let's say a Casper Schmeichel and a Ben Foster conversation. You know.
That's fair, but I would look at Mourinho has no one to impress. When he was at Spurs.
Oh yeah, but
hey, you're a bad player. You're not playing. That's kind of stuff he said. It's brilliant. I love.
It was
Mourinho.
also that on that show. You really did see a side of Mourinho that you understood why players fell in love with, but at Spurs you saw that it just didn't work. Then again, it's the issue, right? How much do you blame a manager over the players? At United, right? People are upset with Ragnick and how Ragnick has been organizing the team, but do you blame Ralph Ragnick or do you blame the players who are just performing just as bad under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer?
I would blame. Well, that's the thing. See, nowadays we blame the manager, and when it's someone like Ragnick, and they're not performing, it clearly it's tough because at Chelsea, Tuchel comes in after Lampard, the team wins the Champions League.
Yeah, but then again, Lampard set the stepping stones for Tuchel to make.
Yeah, but I understand. But those were the same players that were struggling.
Yeah.
You know, who did Tuchel bring in? A Lukaku who's underperforming, and he's still reverting back to the same players.
It's all the same players from last season.
Right? So, if you look at it, maybe it does have something to do with the manager and the way they can motivate them and whatnot, but I think there aren't many managers in the world that can have that impact. If you need a fix, and you're You have 6 months left in your season. You're 3-4 months in. It's November, and you're not sure what's happening. Mourinho comes in, or Antonio Conte. Look what he's done at Spurs.
Yeah.
Same players that were, to some extent, underperforming under him. Not that they're flying high right now, but unbeaten in the last 4 matches. They're fighting for a top four finish in the Prem. How you can't get really too upset about that. Looking at it right now, I would probably put my money on Spurs taking the 4th spot in the Prem.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like Arsenal, they collapsed this weekend. I mean, rightfully so. They just got out. Personally, they got outplayed by Brighton.
Which was kind of awesome.
But also, Arsenal still have a game in hand against Tottenham. They also still have 2 games in hand against West Ham. So, I mean, there's big things to happen, great games to come. But I do want to sign off today. Besmir, any last things? Any last thoughts?
No, I'm not. I'm actually going to really... The sheet of new rules I'm going to add to games now, I'm going to propose it every time I coach.
How about this? Bring that sheet next week, and that's the first thing we'll talk about.
Look at that. So I'm invited for a 3rd week in a row.
Yeah, but I might also bring someone else with you that's been waiting a little while to appear on here. So.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. All right, this is going to be exciting. Well, until next week, I'm Besmir Zuda.
And I'm Ardi Mini, and this is Matchweek. Top of the hour, WMSC, upper line.